Hello everyone, welcome to Wing Paper Crafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've stopped by my YouTube channel. Today we're going to delve into our 6th and 7th alternative card for the April 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit called Inked Occasions. I'm gonna do 2 different cards today because I'm trying to get caught up on these so we can get on with May and June. So, because those boxes are sitting here staring at me. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with this one here. So I've got piece of bubble bath that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to give this a good burnish with my bone folder just to make sure it stays flat. And I've got a piece from the kit. So this was one of the card bases that I cut in half. So this is half of a card base. And I trimmed this to 4 by 5 1/4 so that I have a little bit of border around it. So let's go ahead and put this on here. And I like to lay it out flat just so I can get it centered best I can. Okay, it looks pretty good. So we've got that. Now, this little hugs also came in the kit. So I'm going to put that on there kind of at an angle like this. So we'll use our fine tip glue to put this down. So let's see here. Just gonna dot. Don't need too much of this. A little goes a long way. And this is not like the green Tombow glue. It doesn't get as tacky immediately like the other does. So when you put it down, you kind of just have to hold it just for a couple of seconds to make sure it gets tacky and sticks. If not, it'll move around on you. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So we've got that. Then I've got this butterfly here that I cut from the Beautiful Butterfly set. So I stamped this little guy down here in Gorgeous Grape ink on Gorgeous Grape paper. So some tone on tone. And unfortunately, I don't have the die set that goes with this. Every time I went to get it, it was sold out. I think it might be back in stock now, so I'm going to put that on my next list because I love this set of butterflies. So I just fussy cut this little guy out, and it wasn't horrible. I'm not, a big fan of fussy cutting, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So let's, before I put it on the card there, I want to put some of these, let's see, I've got some gems here, these purple adhesive back sequins. And I was thinking we could just kind of decorate the body of the butterfly. So I'm just going to take some of these smaller iridescent ones here and just kind of put down, whoops, okay, not supposed to stick to the, take your pick tool. Hang on, I got some of the, there we go, okay. So I'm just going to put some of these down the little body here just to give it a little bit of interest and shine. Let's see, I'm going to stick with the iridescent ones here. Okay, that one does not want to behave. There we go. Let's see if we can get one more on or not. I'm not sure. Let's see, can we? I think I'm going to just do 3. I'm just going to leave it at 3. Okay, so then I want to pop this little guy up on some dimensionals. So I've got some of the bigger size dimensionals here. I'm just going to put a couple on. Take the backs of those off. And I think we'll put this guy like right up here. And it kind of looks, just bend your wings up a little bit, just gives him a little dimension. Now, For the inside of this card, I have a piece of white that's 4 by 5 1/4. And I think what I'm going to use for this one is this stamp out of the Beautiful Butterflies that says, "In case you need me, I'm here." So let me find, here it is, find this one. And we'll get this one on a block. Now this is a photopolymer stamp that I've never used before, so I'm going to go ahead and season that up by just kind of rubbing it on my arm here. Just takes that film off of it if there's any left from the manufacturing process. So I think I'm going to use our gorgeous grape ink on the inside here. And since I've never stamped with this stamp before, I do want to practice just to make sure that it's stamping the way I want. So let's see, let me grab a piece of scrap paper here, and we'll just give this a stamp and see how it didn't quite stamp good. So let's just keep doing this. There we go, that one's much better. So sometimes you just gotta give it a minute so it gets, there we go. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, let's ink it up one more time, and we'll get that put right here in the middle. Just give it a second. There we go. So, in case you need me, I'm here. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to close up our ink pad, and we'll get this put on the inside of our card. And see, I already got ink on my fingers. It amazes me how I do that every time. Good thing it was on the back, huh? Not on the front. Okay, we'll get this on the inside here. Oh my goodness, look at that. I'm getting ink everywhere. Where's the ink coming from? Oh my goodness. You know what? We may have to do that one again. Let me see if I can get it off with my sand eraser. If I can find my sand eraser. There it is. Alright, let's just try this real quick. If this doesn't come off, then we'll cut a new one. Well, looks like we might be able to get this one off of here. There's nothing worse than getting ink on your fingers and then getting it everywhere on your project. Okay, it looks like I just about got it. Little circles sometimes, if you do this with a little circular motion, helps it come off. These sand erasers are just wonderful to have just for these occasions. Okay, looks like we salvaged that one. Okay, good deal. All right. So let me put this one to the side and we'll move on to our second one. So the second one, we're going to start with a white card base that again is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I've also got a piece on the inside, 5 by 4 1/4 that we're going to use. Now for this one, I took a piece of white cardstock and I left this actually the same size as the front. So I did, what do we got here? 4 1/4 by 5.5. And I ran it through the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. So let me show you this folder. For one thing, it's huge. And for another thing, it's just so pretty. It puts this nice plaid design into your card. But I left the cardstock when I started at, you know, the same size as the front of the card, because when you run it through these, it kind of shrinks it up because it puts the embossing in and it shrinks the actual size of the card. So by the time I was done, it was real close to, you know, your 5 by 4 1/4, which is what we would want for the front of our card anyway. So that gives me just a little bit of border all the way around, so I just left it like that. So I'm going to put this one down with some seal. And again, I'm going to open it up so I can see better what I'm doing. And we'll get this one down here, centered, top to bottom, left to right, as good as we can. Okay, so that gives our card some texture. Now, for the front of this one, I had just a little piece of the card base left. And it was just a square, you know, it wasn't even square. It was a rectangle, not too much bigger than this. And I thought, what am I going to do with this? So then I pulled out my nested essential dies. And anything that's nesting, I just love. So I used this shape right here. And I took a piece of Pool Party and I cut out, I believe it was this second from the largest for the Pool Party. Yep. And then the third from the largest I used on the card base. So I can put these on top of each other right here in the middle of our card. So let's go ahead and put this, get this layered up on here. And then I want to decide how I want to put this on here. Do we want the Fresh Freesia at the bottom or at the top? I think I'm going to leave it at the top. We'll go ahead and put this on. I'm just going to center it. That looks pretty good. Now, from the dies that came in this kit, so, well, not, they didn't come in the kit. This is the add-on dies. That's next month's. Here we go. This month, the Hugs of Bloom, I took this leaf set right here, and I cut some leaves out of Pool Party. And so we've got these. And then I took, and from this is a retired stamp set called Regal Flora. And I took this little 3 cluster of flowers right here, and I stamped it in Fresh Freesia, and then I cut that out. And I'm going to put that down here, just below our Fresh Freesia that's up here. And let's see, we're going to put our little leaves. Let's see. I don't really want to center the flowers. I kind of want them to be offset to the left-hand side. Kind of something like, I'll get this one in here. Let's see. Maybe down here at the bottom. So something like that. So let's get this on here. I think I'm going to pop these flowers up on dimensionals as soon as I figure out what I did with my dimensionals. Now, we just had them 2 seconds ago. Here they are. Okay, so we'll get one of these in each of these flowers. Get the backs off of these. Now, let's see. I want to put them just kind of like this, so toward the left-hand side. And we'll use our fine tip glue to put our little leaves on. So again, little dots. We don't need a lot. Oh my goodness. Hang on a second. In that little bit of time. Okay, let me just clean our nozzle out again. There we go. This is one glue that you have to keep the lid on because it dries quickly. So, whoops, pick this up here. Put this down here on the bottom, just kind of right in here. get this one. And we'll put this one up here at the top. Perfect. Okay. Let's see if we can get our little leaf to stick. Hold on to it for, there we go, for a second. You got to just give it a second. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Now, let me close this glue up before it dries up on me again. And we will stamp our sentiment for the front of our card. So, okay, come on. There we go. All right, so I'm going to use the stamp set that did come with the kit for this, and I want to use the, okay, what did I do with it? The Congratulations. Yeah, so we're going to use Congratulations, and we're going to stamp it in one of the pieces that came in the kit. So there were these, you know, already done up little sentiment, I don't know what you call them, sentiment bases here, I guess, that we can stamp on. So let me find the one that I had that says Congratulations. Here it is. Okay, so I'm going to take our stamp and we're going to stamp this one in Fresh Freesia. So here's our ink. Now let me get this turned to the right way, kind of lined up straight. I try to use the lines on the glass mat to kind of line it up. So I'll pick that up. Now, let's try really hard not to get my fingers in the ink this time. So we're going to just tap this lightly. Let's see, this goes a certain way. There we go, just like this. So let me see if I can get this centered on here without getting my head in the way. There we go. Congratulations. Okay. And we're going to put this right kind of over the center of our card right here. So what I think I'm going to do, since we popped the flowers up, I'm going to leave this side of it just flat, but I'm going to pop this side up on a dimensional so that it doesn't look like it's falling. So we'll put a dimensional on this side and some glue. We're just going to use regular Tombow glue now on this. Again, we still don't need a lot, just a little. And we will put this right here. I want to make sure I'm on the side of the card over to the right. There we go. Now, it looks like it's flat, not falling off the side there. There we go. So we have our congratulations. Now, for the inside, let me see what we want to put on the inside. Let's do, from this Regal Flora set, I have a stamp that says, Sending Love Your Way. So let's use this one. Get our block. And we'll get this picked up here. Okay, so we've got red rubber now. We have to be careful. I think I want to do Fresh Freesia again on the inside, so let's move that out of the way. Okay, we're going to just tap lightly because I don't want to pick up anything on the outside of the red rubber, if I can help it. looks like we're good. So now, the trick is to go straight down, straight back up, no rocking, and don't push too hard. Let me see if I can straighten this up. Okay, let's see how good we are at this. So try not to rock the block. Oh, so see, it didn't quite do, so let's flip that over and try that again. We got real life going on here, folks. This is like every time. All right, let's try this. So, I'm going to go down. Let's make sure I press just on that side a little bit. There we go. Sending love your way. Perfect. Okay. And we'll get that on the inside of our card. Okay, so there we go. Now, for the outside of this one, I want to put some of these antique pearls on the outside of this one. We actually didn't put any, well, I guess we put gems on our butterfly on our other one, so that was probably enough bling on that one. So for this one, we're going to use these antique pearls, if I can get them out of the package. Okay, so let's see. Let's do these medium-sized ones here to start. I think I'm going to put one here. Oh my goodness. Okay, it might be time to change the end of my take your pick tool. See if we can get some more of that rubber out of the end of it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put one here, and then a baby one down here. There we go. And there's our card. So here are the two that we did today. Very cute, very pretty. So I will be back soon with another card alternatives for this month. We're going to start cranking these out so I can get through this. So don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and leave me a comment and let me know what you think of the cards. I'm really love to interact with you guys, so let's have a conversation down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a crafty day.